up on Carolina Week, UNC finds itself defending another racial discrimination lawsuit.
Issues with food insecurity, mental health, and drink tampering are pushing Tar Heels to step up.
And conversations surrounding Latinx Heritage Month and climate migration could not be more timely among Hurricane Fiona's ravaging path through Puerto Rico.
Up next on this episode of Carolina Week.
From the UNC Hussman School of Journalism and Media, connecting Carolina's campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Happy Wednesday and welcome to Carolina Week. I'm Taylin Kane.
And I'm Lauren Fichten.
The university is facing yet another lawsuit citing racial and gender discrimination, this time in the Kenan Flagler Business School. New reports show former graduate student Angelica Rose Brown filed the federal lawsuit in North Carolina last month against the university, 3 of her former professors, and the UNC Board of Governors. In the lawsuit, Brown claims she faced retaliation and racism as the only black woman in the school's PhD program in organizational behavior. A month before her dismissal last summer, Brown reported her professors and advisors to the Equal Opportunity Compliance Office. The lawsuit states faculty failed to include her headshot in the program's candidate portfolio and did not accommodate her requests for extensions on assignments to attend court hearings for her sexual assault case against an acquaintance, and that she faced retaliation. Brown is seeking compensation for, quote, mental anguish, severe emotional distress, financial loss, and pain and suffering. Just weeks after the racial discrimination lawsuit was filed, the dean of the business school announced his resignation last Friday.
Doug Shackleford announced in a business school internal Zoom meeting he would step down effective Monday, September 19th. Shackleford did not mention the lawsuit during his video message. In a news release on his retirement, the university emphasized the school's record enrollments in undergraduate business, Master of Accounting, and MBA programs in fall 2020. According to Bloomberg Businessweek's B-School Diversity Index, the school ranks 61 out of 81 MBA programs. After 32 years on faculty, 8 of those as dean of the business school, the UNC alumnus said he's stepping away, quote, after much reflection and the decision has not been easy, end quote. The school's officials declined Carolina Week's request for the video of Shackleford's announcement on Zoom. UNC launches a nationwide search for Shackleford's successor and will appoint an interim dean this week.
North Carolina is the 10th hungriest state in the nation, according to a new report by the North Carolina Justice Center. And with food costs on the rise, many facing food insecurity are right here on UNC's campus. Reporter Mackenzie O'Donnell checked in with organizations working to help keep students fed.
Costs will continue to increase through the end of 2022. University meal plans are also up in price. Take the unlimited plan, for example, ringing in at about $2,600, 13% more than in 2019. A new report by the North Carolina Justice Center finds that more than 500,000 North Carolinians face food insecurity across the state. So it's no surprise that at least 1 in 5 UNC students are food insecure right here on campus. Meeting Students in the Middle, Carolina Cupboard is a campus group working to help meet students' needs.
So Carolina Cupboard has existed to make sure that people on campus are giving the opportunity to get food or other resources that the pantry can offer, because food insecurity definitely exists on this campus, and considering South Campus is definitely kind of like a food desert.
Edible Campus UNC is another program tackling hunger. They cultivate gardens around campus in partnership with Carolina Cupboard. The produce they harvest ends up in students' own hands and plates.
So the food pantry, we don't ever turn students away. I want people to know that a lot of people don't like the term of being called food insecure. If you just need resources, this is here for you. I just want students to know that this is for students. If they need anything, they definitely can come get it. It's not just for those that are facing the harsh implications of the food desert on this campus. Please just come.
The Carolina Cupboard Food Pantry is located on the lower level of the Avery Residence Hall and is open Tuesday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. by appointment only. In Chapel Hill, I'm Mackenzie O'Donnell, Carolina Week.
Deaths related to drug overdoses are continuing to rise nationwide. Carolina Week's Stephen Schlenk spoke with local leaders trying to change that trend.
Orange County joins 5 others around the state in making vending machines like the one behind me containing Narcan available to those in the community who may be struggling with substance abuse issues. We spoke to Orange County officials about why this was an important move. Orange County is now home to one of 6 vending machines containing Narcan, a drug that reverses the effect of narcotics. And Orange County Sheriff Charles Blackwood says it's a good thing.
This is just another way for us to give them a pathway outside so that they don't fall victim to that tragedy. When people leave our detention center is one of their most vulnerable times. After they've been here for a time, their tolerance levels tend to drop.
That means there's a greater risk of overdose because it takes less of a drug to feel the effects. A perk, Blackwood says, to having this machine in a public setting right in the sheriff's office lobby.
Whether they were incarcerated, whether they're visiting someone here, or whether they're just literally traveling through the county and stop to use the restroom.
Allison Zirkle, the sheriff's office clinical coordinator, says the machine has already gotten some use.
So far, we have had 15 get taken by some people. We don't know who exactly, but they're going out into the community.
And that's the goal. According to the CDC, North Carolina has had over 3,700 overdose-related deaths in the last year. And for Zirkle, this is an opportunity to make substance abuse less taboo.
There's just lots of stigma that people can't get better, that they're not worth it, they're not worth the effort, and nothing is further from the truth.
This is an opportunity for us to literally make a difference in saving someone's life.
The hope is as inmates are released or those struggling with addiction in the community come into the detention center, they can come to the vending machine, select the Narcan, and have it with them just in case. In Hillsborough, Stephen Schlink, Carolina Week.
It's been almost a year since a string of suicides and suicide attempts hit the Carolina community, and UNC officials declared a mental health crisis. University leaders established 2 wellness days along with other initiatives to promote and support mental health as students grieved. Many of those initiatives continued into this academic year, including efforts by new student body president Teddy Van. Taft Stevens is co-director of the Student Wellness and Safety for the Van administration. Taft Stevens, co-director of Student Wellness and Safety,
is collectively the mental health reforms. We're doing a hiring program with CAPS, working with them. We're changing the Hills Care Network, making sure it's more accessible, easy to use, more inclusive to all different kinds of resources on campus.
If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, some of the resources on campus currently available to students include counseling and psychological services, also known as CAPS, UNC's Mental Health Resource Hub, and the UNC School of Medicine's Mental Health and Wellness Program.
A UNC family donated $25 million to the UNC School of Medicine's Department of Psychiatry. The funds will help establish the UNC Suicide Prevention Institute. The institute will conduct medical research regarding suicide prevention. There's also a plan to create a system that flags patients struggling with suicidal thoughts and ensures they receive the medical care they need. UNC alumnus William Starling and his wife Dana made the donation in honor of their late sons, Tyler and Gregory, who both took their own lives. Next week, Carolina Week's Stephen Schlink sits down with the family to hear their story. Up next on Carolina Week, an update on the potential noise ordinance in the Chapel Hill and a look at this week's weather forecast. We'll be right back.
Worried about your friend but don't know how to reach out?
You could say how are you or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. An Alert Carolina notification warned students of an alleged drink tampering and physical assault last week. Though the alert went out on Thursday, the incident happened late last month, according to UNC police. The alert read that 2 people who weren't identified had their drinks tampered with at the Pi Kappa Phi fraternity house located at 216 East Rosemary Street. One of the 2 individuals reported that they had also been physically assaulted. Police are still investigating the incident and no arrests or charges have been made. In a statement to CBS 17, the Pi Kappa Phi fraternity said, in part, "We take any such allegations seriously and are investigating along with the university. The health and safety of members and guests are our top priority for Pi Kappa Phi. If anyone is found in violation of policies, they will be held accountable." The university encourages anyone who witnesses drink tampering to report it immediately. Officials also encourage anyone at a party to pour their own drink, confirm its contents, and to always keep it out of others' reach.
Walking alone at night can be more than uncomfortable, it can potentially be unsafe for students. That's why since 2009, SafeWalk has helped students get home, well, safely. This year, the team has new ways of keeping Tar Heels safe, including fresh new fits. Carolina Week reporter Kelly Kendall has the story.
Friendly, caring, and collaborative.
That's how safe walker Sophia Responti describes what her job is all about. If you've ever left Davis Library between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., you might be familiar with the question,
"Would you like a safe walk tonight?"
What you might not know is that SafeWalk is a student-run organization. It's sponsored by UNC to promote safe travel during nighttime hours. You'll find safe walkers outside of Davis Library in pairs. If you need a safe walk or bike, they'll first ask you for your PID. Then you're on your way to your destination, whether that's on or off campus.
I think meeting the people, like I said, is just really cool because a lot of the people that you walk, you'd never get to talk to unless you were to do the job.
But SafeWalk is more than just a friendly face. This year, UNC police took over SafeWalk. Team members are being trained in security measures, including how to use Narcan. Responti says training is key in protecting students.
I think that it just kind of helps prevent stuff from happening, and it's just a good proactive measure, in my opinion, to keep everybody safe.
New uniforms are also a part of the group's upgrades. After years of being confused with crossing guards and other security officers, safe walkers are wearing these new vests featuring their logo and phone number.
We have this, I guess, identity now with the new uniforms. It's just really going back to the feeling useful and feeling appreciated. It just goes back to that.
SafeWalk is currently operating outside of Davis Library Sunday through Thursday. You can also reach them by calling 919-962-7233. From Chapel Hill, I'm Kelly Kendall, Carolina Week.
An update now on a story we brought to you last week on a potential new noise ordinance in Chapel Hill. The downtown Chapel Hill Campus and Community Coalition plan to present a proposal for the ordinance at last week's town council meeting, but held off its presentation to gather the community's input. In an emailed statement, the coalition's executive director, Samantha Liu, said the group is still working to set dates for community meetings with local residents and students. We will continue to follow this story and bring any updates as they are available.
On Friday, many of UNC's community college transfers kicked off the year at the Concourse Club at Kenan Stadium.
That's right. Our reporter Kyle Ennis sat down with students about how important the Sept program was to their journey to Carolina.
No competitive GPA. The University of North Carolina welcomes students regardless of the route they take to get here. The Sept program is a pathway for community college students to transfer and graduate from Carolina. Students are provided with access to support services both at their community college and once they become Tar Heels. For some, this makes dreams a reality.
It was just like a dream come true. I always wanted to come to UNC. I've been living in Chapel Hill since moving from Egypt.
Saeed knows just how much a difference the program has made for him.
I don't really know much about how colleges work, and I'm also a first-generation student, so I didn't have a lot of guidance when I moved to the U.S.
For others, UNC seemed out of reach.
Looking at the test scores that were required to get into this school were way out of my reach, so I knew that it wasn't going to be possible.
Baldwin still is extremely grateful for the opportunity he has been given, despite the odds.
I can't believe I am here because I came from a troubled past.
And the program is quite successful. Once enrolled here, students are encouraged to take advantage of their UNC education from the moment they step on campus. 85 new students are calling Carolina their new home this fall. The program began in 2006, originally starting with 4 community colleges to now 14. 1,400 students have also been served through the program. One individual works tirelessly behind the scenes, and for these success stories, she could not be prouder.
Their zest for life, their zeal for their education and their future careers, and really just grabbing life where they are, and overcoming the barriers to get to that point. That is what drives me to do this work.
Regardless of the journey, you become and stay a Tar Heel, making your heel print forever. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kyle Ennis, Carolina Week.
To celebrate Latino history and culture, UNC's Carolina Latinx Center is hosting a month's worth of events for Latino Heritage Month. This year's Latino Heritage Month theme is Living My Life at the Carolina Latinx Center. Among the most popular events is a Latino-themed dinner at the top of Lenore Dining Hall, a student-led carnival showcase in SASB Plaza, and movie nights featuring different Latino artists and filmmakers. Gabrielle Nolasco is student ambassador of the CLC. She says the organization encourages everyone to share their stories in community, especially after the pandemic.
So the theme wraps around to just live your life in the moment, focus on the now, to just authentically live, being Latina in the best way you know how.
For Nolasco and others in the community, it's a great time of year, a chance to show off what they love most about their culture and identity.
Hurricane Fiona swept through Puerto Rico over the weekend, leading to major flooding and island-wide power outages. But before Fiona even set path, the UNC Global Education Center planned a lecture with Maria Cristina Garcia on the climate-driven migration held Monday. The discussion covered how disasters like Hurricane Fiona will continue to impact Caribbean and Central American nations unless their infrastructure needs are met or climate change is more broadly addressed. That was lecture attendee and PhD candidate Julio Gutierrez, who says the devastation in Puerto Rico is just one symptom of larger climate, political, and economic issues in the territory. Hurricane Fiona is predicted to continue moving into Bermuda through the week.
But will it make its way to North Carolina? Joining us with the latest forecast is our meteorologist, Brian Foster.
Well, Hurricane Fiona has definitely left its mark on Puerto Rico. Right now, it's moving north out to sea, which is good news. However, Puerto Rico will still be reeling from these effects of the storm for several weeks, it looks like. It made landfall at 3:20 in the afternoon on Sunday. They've been facing a lot of catastrophic flooding from both the rain and the rough surf that's been battering the island since the hurricane has moved away. And also, at times, the whole island has been without power, for some days ever since this hurricane has made landfall, and it looks like the death toll is still rising. So we're definitely going to keep you updated with this news as it unfolds. But to add insult to injury, look at this. We've got some more storms forming. This could be our next area of concern. Could be our next hurricane that forms out in the Caribbean. Models are suggesting this could move out into the Gulf of Mexico, which may impact our weather next week. I'm not expecting anything from this right now. It's too early to say, though I am keeping an eye on that for you. So in the immediate term, it's not making an impact on our weather. This is a look, if we progress throughout our forecast for Thursday. Look at this. There's a cold front draped over most of America right now. Behind this cold front, cool weather will be moving into the area by Friday afternoon. However, we got to get to that point first. It's going to feel really hot and steamy as we look at our hour-by-hour forecast for Thursday. But when you're waking up in the morning for an early morning jog, 65 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning, though really quickly warming up to 90 at lunchtime, maybe even 92, 93 when your classes are ending in the afternoon. So definitely find ways to stay cool. Definitely not fall, though. Tomorrow is the first day of fall, ironically. It also marks the autumnal equinox, and all this means is that this is the time of the year when the sun is directly overhead the equator. This just means that both the northern and the southern hemisphere is receiving the same amount of sunlight. However, as we all know, as we progress throughout the winter months, we get less and less sunlight, while the opposite is true for the southern hemisphere. So it's a sign that things are changing. You'll see this on our 5-day forecast as well. Looking for the rest of today, highs will be close to 91 degrees, 93, kind of the same story for Thursday. However, once this cold front moves through, it could issue some more showers and storms. I didn't talk about that too much, though not a big area of concern. Quickly cooling off, a low of 57 tomorrow night. And then look at this, our highs on Friday will be in the mid-70s. It's going to feel great to be outdoors, especially for the weekend games we have on Saturday. Quickly warming back up to the 80s, maybe another cold shot of air tomorrow, for Sunday, going going on into next week. So Taylor and Lauren, looks to be warm at first. Might have a great weekend up ahead. Keeping an eye on the tropics for you, though.
Thanks, Brian. So what are you doing this weekend, Lauren?
I think, considering the weather, I'm going to go on a really nice hike. What about you?
I'm looking forward to the football game against Notre Dame. Gonna go ahead and grab me a Bojangles box from that new Bojangles store that just opened up, get me some sweet tea, and head out.
Sounds good to me.
Stay with us for an exciting look at the weekend ahead for Carolina Athletics. We'll be right back.
My father instilled in me the commitment to hard work. He came to this country from Michoacan as a farm worker. My mother and my father had COVID early on. In order to stay safe and be around our players and my family, I took the vaccine. An hour after, I got a workout in. I may not be anybody in this world, but when people have an interaction with me, I provide my best. Maya is 5 years old. We coach her. Others are important. Believe in health and loving other people. That's what we do.
Week for Tar Heel Athletics, and here to break it down is Sports Extra anchor BJ Tillman. BJ?
Thanks, Lauren. The UNC men's soccer team faced in-state opponent UNC Wilmington at Dorrance Field Tuesday evening, and despite tying their season high in shots on goal, tied 0-0. Carolina will be back in action on Saturday as they travel to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Sophomore Bryn Brown has been rewarded for her performance at the Coaching Tree Invitational by being named National Runner of the Week. Brown won the Coaching Tree Invitational on Friday with a time of 20 minutes and 18.6 seconds. She led the Heels to the top team finish at the event. This is only the second time in program history that a UNC athlete has been named National Athlete of the Week during the cross-country season. Sasha Naglia previously won the honor in 2020. As we wait for the college baseball season to come around again, a former Tar Heel has been lighting it up at the next level. Michael Bush has been on a remarkable streak and is becoming one of the most promising prospects in the minor leagues. Bush hit his 30th home run of the season and 19th for the Oklahoma City Dodgers in Sunday's win against the Albuquerque Isotopes. The UNC women's field hockey midfielder Meredith Shoulder is the ACC Defensive Player of the Week. Shoulder played a pivotal role on the defensive end against the Louisville Cardinals, blocking 6 scoring attempts, leaving the number 4 Cardinal women scoreless. The undefeated Heels are back in action at Karen Shelton Stadium on Friday. While Tar Heel varsity athletes continue to chase gold at the highest level, many on campus have been taken to spike ball to fulfill their sporting urges. And for these two students, it's also built a special bond. Sarah Choi has the story.
Every Wednesday afternoon, Creed Maines and Jacob Johnson-Wright get together to play a few rounds of spike ball. But before they play, they attend daily mass at the Newman Center. Glory to you, Lord. After being sent home in the fall of 2020, the Newman campus minister encouraged Maines and Johnson-Wright to play spike ball together when they returned to school. And in the spring of 2021, the two first met.
He's a really good guy, and I could just tell from the first time we met that A, he was a good competitor, but B, he was just a great guy, and I was excited to keep playing with him. That's why I've continued till today.
Playing spike ball together every week has made them closer as friends.
Whenever you're building relationships, you have to find common ground, and Jacob and I are very similar people, and the main thing is that we're both competitive.
Johnson-Wright and Maines always play on opposing teams so that they can compete against one another. Over time, a rivalry was born.
We just kept playing, and Creed kept getting madder and madder after we won. I guess not really a rivalry if we keep winning, but there's not anybody who's quite as good as me, Jacob included, but it's still fun to play someone who is like at your skill level.
Maines and Johnson-Wright may be rivals on the field, but at the end of the day, they have a deep respect for one another.
Jacob's just a really good guy. It's always awesome to have him around. And if you're on his side, he's loyal to you, and that's the best thing you can ask for in a friend.
Maines and Johnson-Wright have kept their spike ball tradition alive for almost 2 years, with more yet to come. I'm Sarah Choi, reporting.
Be sure to check back with Sports Extra on Friday as we preview Saturday's football clash against Notre Dame. Thank you, BJ. And in other Carolina football news, after missing the Heels game against Georgia State on the road, head football coach Mac Brown confirmed senior defensive back Don Chapman will return to the lineup against Notre Dame on Saturday. Chapman was arrested earlier this month on assault charges. He was released just hours later, according to court documents. Chapman tried to remove a gun from his pregnant wife after she threatened to kill herself. A judge set a restraining order barring Chapman from coming into contact with his wife for the time being. Here's what Coach Brown told Media Monday about Chapman.
With the information that we've gathered over 2 weeks, we feel like that he should stay on the team, and he will play this weekend.
We'll be right back.
I'm a first-generation Filipino American. You don't always feel you're a part of the country you live in. It's this weird middle space sometimes that you have to live inside of. But when you meet others that are also living in that space, you'll learn to know that it's its own unique space too.
Having a pet on campus is becoming more popular, and one local Triangle rescue is connecting students to their future furry friends. Reporter Kai Hayes has more.
The people, the place, and the pets. How can you call Chapel Hill the southern part of heaven without puppies? Molly Goldston is the founder of Saving Grace, and she's cracked the code to getting UNC students to volunteer and even adopt their very own four-legged friend.
And we have a weekend host program. That's a really great program where you pick up on a Friday evening at 7 and you return Sunday night or Monday morning. You take them all out and about, take pictures and do a write-up. When you bring them back, you do a write-up about their weekend.
This natural and non-traditional approach to an animal shelter was inspired by Goldston's previous work in animal welfare and her very own troubles with the animal adoption process.
So I learned when I wanted to adopt and I got turned down because I was in college. That's not fair.
Located in Raleigh, the Saving Grace Farm is the perfect place for adopters and volunteers alike to interact and learn the stories of the dogs, says Goldston. But it's not just the pups who find a happy ending. Jessica Crosby tells us how her new buddy Moose has changed her own life for the better.
Coming home after a really busy day or a stressful day, it's so nice to just see Moose's sweet face and to just be able to love on him and have him by my side, after a long day of exams and working and having internships. It's just nice to have a little buddy beside me.
You can find your own buddy from Saving Grace Farm at Greek life events around campus, in the quad, or maybe one day in your own home. In Chapel Hill, I'm Kai Hayes, Carolina Week.
I absolutely love puppies. Lauren, do you have any puppy plans in your future?
Absolutely, because I never grew up with any pets, so it's actually always been a dream of mine to have my own dog. What about you?
I love that. I'm quite familiar with Saving Grace, and I'm looking to get a pit bull named Bando, so watch out. Thanks for watching Carolina Week. We'll see you next week.